This meeting is being recorded.
Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavadyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha Gukarasandhakaro Vai Rukarastan Nivartakaha Andhakara Nirodhitvat Guruvityabhidiyate Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahi Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi Om Bhadrangarne Vishnuyama Devaha Bhadram Vashyema Akshabhiryajatraha Sthirairangai Estushtvagum Sastanubhi Vishema Devahi Tanjadayuhu Swastina Indro Vruddhashravaha Swastina Pusha Vishyavedaha Swastina Starksho Arishtanemihi Swastino Brihaspatirdadhatu Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi Om Prajnanam Shukpratanihi Sthirachara Vyapibhir Vyapyalokan Bhuktva Bhogan Stavishtan Punarapidishanodbhasitan Kamajanyan Pitva Sarvan Viseshan Swapiti Madhurabhung Mayaya Bhojayannaha Maya Sankhyaturiyam Paramamritam Ajam Brahmayatannatosmi. Mandukya Upanishad is part of Atharvana Veda. It has a Mahavakya, which is Ayam Atma Brahma. Mahavakyas are Akhandartha Bodhakatva Vakyas. Akhandartha means Jiva Brahma or Jiveshwara Aikya Vakyas. The Vakyas which reveal the oneness between Jiva and Ishvara. Every Upanishad is considered complete. Therefore, every Upanishad actually has Mahavakyas only. In fact, there is a saying that Vedasya or Vedantasya Ekavakyata. There is only one sentence across all Upanishads, which is Jiva Brahma Aikya. The oneness is revealed in those Upanishads between the Jiva and Ishvara. We already saw in the earlier 2-3 sessions that the feasibility of moksha or liberation is only if I am already free and I didn't know about it. Because if I am inherently a limited being, then by accumulating any amount of belongings or things, my finiteness is not going to go away. I will be a dissatisfied basic person plus some additional things. But the fundamental unhappiness, the fundamental dissatisfaction, which is because of my limitations, if it is not resolved, adding anything over to it is not going to solve my problems. Because if I am basically an unhappy, unsatisfied, limited, self non-accepting person, then having a couple more luxury cars and televisions and new gadgets and a few relationships are not going to make me a complete person. Though those additions can add some comfort, they can add some anxiety, all that is possible, but they are not going to solve my fundamental problem. So the only way I can be liberated, if it is possible that I am already full, but I don't know about it. So this being the case, even if I go to different lokas, a Kailasa or Vaikunta or Golok Brindavan or heaven, because as a basic person, the basic entity, I am a limited, unhappy entity. Even going to places and having darshan of Bhagavan or anything is not going to be the final solution. It is good if such a thing exists and we go to heaven and all that. But will it solve my fundamental problem? It won't. That is why the Shastras say, even if you go to Brahmaloka, the Brahmaji teaches you that Ayam Atma Brahma. That removes your limitation. When you cognize that jnana. Therefore, all the Upanishads are complete. However, for the ease and also showing that Jiva Brahma Aikya are of the most significant statements, the Sampradaya has taken one statement from each of the four Vedas and highlighted them as Mahavakyas. And Mandukya has Ayam Atma Brahma as a Mahavakya. Like to Chandogya, which is Samaveda Upanishad, has Tattvamasi. Then Rigveda has Prajnanam Brahma, and Yajurveda has Aham Brahmasmi. So all these statements are Akhandartha Bodhakatva Vakyas or Mahavakyas. Akhandartha means there is no limiting artha in it. There is no Khanditam. It is about all that is here. We called it as what? Vastu. That is the only thing. Everything else, there is no other thing. Everything else, if you have to use the term, they are non-things. So in the clay world, clay is the only thing. The pot, the lid, the jar, all those are non-things, because once you analyze, they all resolve in the clay. Similarly, anything you analyze in this world, they go and resolve in only one vastu. That is why it is called vastu, the thing. So Advaya means the thing. So to know what that vastu is the pursuit. So coming to Mandukya Upanishad, the Upanishad itself is a fairly small, it's probably the smallest of the main Upanishads. It uses the prakriya of looking at the creation, the as though creation that we see, through the lens of three states of experience. How do I see how do I see the world? I'm getting a little bit cough, 1 second. Three states of experience. At half of the time I'm a waker, I see the gross world. When I say gross, I see a very tangible world like the sky, stars, mountains, people, objects. That is one vacant state of experience. That is 1/3 of my experience, right? As a waker. Then you have the second state of experience, which is as a dreamer. So I dream maybe like 10% of every day. I'm just saying, roughly, or even less. That is another 1/3, right? I mean, there are three states of experience, right? 1/3 is not like equal division of time, but one of the three states. Then finally, I have the deep sleep, where I don't experience any objects or things. So that is the third state of experience. So within this three, more or less is what our life is. And why I am saying more or less is because there is also talk about a twilight zone, right? I have not fully woken up. I am not dreaming also. So there is this in-between thing. Okay. So it's called Ubhayata Prajnam. Even that is a state which is covered by Shastra. So my experience of the world is through these three states of experience. So this is a Drishta Srishti. We already spoke, right, in the previous session, that all this is Prakriya, a methodology to show the Vastu, right? Everybody knows the three state of experience. It's not like you don't know about it. There is nothing new that Shastra is telling here when it says there are three states of experience, right? So there is no Tatparya in the three states. That is what I'm saying. Like we spoke in the last session about Panchabhuta Prakriya and all that. The Tatparya is not on Panchabhuta, but to show all that is here is that one Vastu, which is called as Brahman also. Similarly, here too, the three states of experience are used in a model, like the Shakagra Chandra Darshana Nyaya, like that we said, whatever you are able to see in this Jagat is used as a starting point to take you to that Brahman. Likewise, here also, the Shastra is starting with your three states of experience, which everybody has. Now, if everything is Brahman, all that is here is that same Vastu and Brahman, then within these three states also, whatever you are experiencing should be Brahman. It can't be different. So even though we say we start here and take you to the Brahman and all that, but it is all figurative speech only, isn't it? Actually, if all the three states are Brahman, because everything is Brahman, so you are Brahman, the Jagat is Brahman, all your experiences are Brahman, then all the three states and any one state also, all your experience should be Brahman, because it is Pratibodha Viditam Matam. Right now you are listening to this. You see something in front of you, you are hearing something. This experience should be Brahman experience only. You can't say, hey, this is a different experience, and then when I go to Nirvikalpa Samadhi, there I see the Brahman. If you say that, then you can't say everything all the time. Trikala Ditam is Brahman. Across all time, across all space, across all objects, what exists, and the only thing that is Brahman. If it is said like that, then every experience should be Brahman only. But then your question will be, hey, you are saying all this, but I don't know. That is where these three experiences are taken up. And it is shown what are these three different things and what exists in these three things. And that is Chaturiya or Turiya, which is actually the Brahman. So it actually talks, so the Mandukya Upanishad takes 4 quarters. Okay, quarter as in 1/4. And it says there are 4 quarters in Brahman. It actually uses the word Om, Omkara. See, that is why this is another reason why this Upanishad is considered very prominently, because it talks about Omkara. In fact, it starts with talking about Omkara only. Om ityetadaksharam idagam sarvam. This Om Akshara is what all that is here is nothing but Omkara only. That's how it starts. The Upanishad starts like that. And then it uses Omkara as a sound symbol to show how all the three experiences, actually I wouldn't say to show, it uses Omkara as a sound symbol to model all the three states of experiences into the three sounds. Omkara is what? Akara, Ukara, Makara, right? A, in Sanskrit, A plus U is O. A plus U, the Sandhi makes it O. And with Makara, added to it, it is Om, right? So there are 3 syllables there. A, U, and Ma. So when you open your mouth, which is without changing the position of your tongue and all that, just make a plain sound, it is Ah. Okay. It is like your Vakan, where you are fully expressing yourself. All of yourself is available in Vakan. So it is mapped to Ah. So your Vakan is Ah. Then you look at U, which is Ubayor Madhya. It is neither A nor it is fully closed. So the U is you slightly tweak your Oshta, which is your lips, and then you make the sound. That is U. That is Ubayor Madhya, in between the two, which is the dream. Like the dream, U is a sound which can be mapped to the dream. And when you have closed your mouth and you make a sound, that's the only sound you can make. When you close your mouth, you make a sound. The only sound you can make is right? All the other sounds. So when you open your mouth and you make a sound, the basic sound is ah, right? That e, u, ik, all that is ip, and all that needs so many changes. Ah is the basic sound, but it's the complete sound with, and from ah only all the sounds come, isn't it? When you open your mouth and you make a basic sound, it's ah. This ah, when it is constrained in different ways, it becomes all other sounds. If you constrain it like ik, ka, la, ja, it is ah with some changes to your tongue, where you touch your tongue, where you touch your throat, where you touch your lip, where you touch your teeth, ta, na. All this is because the same ah, When it is constrained by different things, it becomes all other sounds. So the basic sound is ah. So that is your vacan, like your vacan. It is using this as a model. Om is one sound, but it covers the three states. Ah is like the vacan. It is the basic person, the complete person. So it is like akara. Then if you close your mouth, everything else is resolved. You can't make any variations to it. Is the only thing you can do. You can't bring a pa or la or ja when you have closed your mouth. That is like your deep sleep. Everything is dissolved. Now the three states of experiences are modeled in this Omkara, Pratika. And other than these three states, three quarters, there is a fourth quarter, which is Turiya, which is there in all the three states, but is beyond all these three states. And what is that is what the Upanishad talks about, gives a vision. That's why Omkara Idagum Sarvam is everything that is here. Also as a Upasana, you can see it as an Upasana, Omkara Upasana. So all your experiences can be mapped to this Omkara. In fact, Omkara is a sound symbol for Brahman, the Sarvavyapi. That is why when you do anything, any religious, whether it is Archana or any Abhisheka or some mantras you chant, Om is the main. Everything else is an attribute to Om, superimposed along with Om. The basic, the fundamental Vastu itself is Om. And all the other things are superimposed attributes. So when you say Om Krishnaya Namaha, the Krishna is superimposed on Om. Om Shivaya Namaha, the Shiva is an attribute, Mangala. That Om is what is the substance, because it is Brahman. That's why they say without saying Om, you can't say anything. No Archana mantra or anything can be said without saying Omkara, because you are actually invoking Om only, which is Brahman only in any invocation, because that is the total. And total is what is Ishvara from a Samashti, and that is what we have to understand. When we spoke a little bit on Bhakti the other day, Ishvara is Samashti. All that is here, when you are part of, see, we have to understand what is Bhagavan or Ishvara. The general understand, because we don't talk Ishvara in Upanishad that much in these Upanishads directly, the Saguna Ishvara, but Bhagavad Gita and other Granthas actually talk vividly about it. So Ishvara is, because Brahman is the substance, the Vastu. Now we talk about a Srishti, right? The Drishta Srishti that we see here. How do you explain all this? I am seeing this world. When you analyze, it is Anirvachyam. The only word exists. When I say there is a wall here. What is this wall? A wall, if it is made of cement and brick and all that, it's a combination of cement and brick, right? Is cement wall? No. Is brick the wall? No. It's them together, right? Now, what is cement? Again, if you analyze it, cement is made up of, group of atoms or molecules. And then you further analyze it. It is energy, right? Energy and matter are same. That Einstein showed, right? Now, if it is energy, what is energy? So you keep looking at any one thing, it keeps going. Look at this cloth. A cloth is what? Is fabric, yarn, or if you further look at yarn or a fabric, it is again molecules, atoms. So it doesn't stop anywhere, it keeps going. Everything is only an assembly. So the science also is saying the same thing. Every tangible, what you see as tangible, grass is actually made up of something subtle, which is again made of something more subtler and subtler and subtler thing. Eventually, a non-grass is what is making up the grass. And where do all these things go and resolve? We will see where it resolves. That is what we call as Vastu. But then you see a Jagat. You can't say, I don't see the sun. You can't say, I don't see the moon. You do see the sun, you see the earth, you see the mountain. All this can't be Maya or illusion, isn't it? We don't say they are Maya. We call them as Mithya, dependent reality. They are not actually real. There is a reality which is the Vastu, but what you see are not what is real. But the Srishti is seen. And that Srishti that is seen should have a creator. Because even though it's an as though Srishti, but it is not because I am having an illusion, that's why I'm seeing. It is not that. Everybody can't have the same illusion, right? If it is a dream, then it is your dream. It is very, very subjective. But when you say I am seeing a mountain, others are also seeing the same mountain. So it is not very subjective. So that's called Ishvara Srishti is there. So that Srishti, even though when you look at whether that is the substance, is it actually the mountain? No, it goes and resolves to something else. So it is an as though Srishti. But this as though Srishti has an as though creator. That is why it is called a Maya Srishti. The Srishti Karana is Maya, right? Not the Srishti itself is Maya, is not what we say. Srishti Karana, it is Srishti. What is Srishtam is Mithya. It's a dependent reality. But because a dependent reality, as though creation happens, the cause is called Maya. And that Maya Upahita Chaitanya is Ishvara. So all that is here is Ishvara. That is what is called Samashti Brahma. Samashti, or it is called Saguna Brahma. Samashti is you are part of the whole, and the whole is Ishvara. And that is what is, when you are a bhokta, when we say I am an enjoyer, right? I am a karta bhokta. Each of us are karta and bhokta. We are doers and enjoyers. These are the two states, right? Either I am doing something and I am doing something for me to enjoy that, right? I earn money so that I can get some benefits and I become an enjoyer. I go and seek some relationship as a doer, and then I have some benefit of it. I am an enjoyer, right? So I am always a karta bhokta. That is a samsari. The one who is kicked around by all the likes and dislikes is a samsari, is a karta and bhokta. That is a basic jiva. So this kartrutvam and bhoktrutvam is due to your free will. And what is giving you the context to do all this bhoga and all that is the samashti. Samashti means Ishvara. You are given a context to operate on. Everything is given, no? This earth is given to you. This body is given to you. People around you are given to you. It's all given. Sun and moon is given. People may claim there is no God, there is not. But even to say that, that mouth, that brain, that thinking is all given. It is all obtained when it just is there. It is there and you just use it. That's it. Your own body is given to you only, right? You don't own it. And you don't have any kind of stake on it, in fact. You can't even control how long it is going to exist. And what happens to it, who I meet tomorrow, who I meet today, what happens in the next half an hour, I have no control. Nobody has any control. Because it's all given. So the Samashti Ishvara is your experience of the Jagat. And you are just a spoke in the wheel. Like Bhagavan says in Gita, right? That this is my chakra which is running. The wheel of creation is running. And you just become a spoke. Nimittamatram bhava. Savyasachin is what Bhagavan says. There is a truth in it, isn't it? This whole Srishti, including all stars and everything that you see, is all given. You are just there as a small, time-wise, space-wise, limited being who is just experiencing this. So our kartrutva, bhoktrutva is all this ego that we have. If you analyze it, it's worthless. Okay. But then the same ego which is small and limited, Shastra comes and says, is the Purna Swarupa, all that is here. And that is Om. That is given a sound symbol Om. So generally we hear, once people read this, right, this Om is all that is here, then they give some scientific theory that Omkara, like a big bang, was the first which was there. Then suddenly some vibration happened. Then from Om, all this world came. It's not, it's all like, then it is Kapola Kalpita. It's all imagined just to justify that Om. So what is the pramana for all this? Right? That Om only became there by vibration and all that. You don't need to scientifically talk about everything. Yeah, when we just spoke science when we said everything reduces to non-tangible thing. Yeah, in those areas, science is very aligned. But then, just to show that Omkara is everything, then because you don't understand what it is saying, you don't have to create theories like, Om is the vibration which created the world. It's nothing like that. A sound symbol has to be understood properly. It is about samashti. Okay. That is Omkara. So your three states of experience is the world, correct? Without an experiencer, where is sun and moon? The existence of sun and moon hinges on a sun and moon experience. Somebody has to experience to say that there is sun and moon. Now, which means an experiencer's experience of sun and moon is through the waking. So when you look at these three states of experience, that is all the Jagat is. That is why Mandukya picks up these three states of experience and uses this Om is a single syllable, but it has three parts. And Akara is a very good representation of all that you experience in the waken. because it is fundamentally hinging on the akara, the basic sound. Like that, there is this basic Vishwa person, the total person, whose physical, subtle, and Sukshma Sharira are together in the Vakan. And that person is experiencing the world. That is like the sound akara. Then this in between, which is the dream. The dream comes from where? From your Vakan experiences only. The Vakan experiences only lead you to the dream. You don't see something which is not based on the Vakan experience. That is why it is a variant of akara. It is like if you just leave your mouth, it is and slightly make the rounded lip, it is That is like your dream. You can superimpose your dream state onto and like we already saw, deep sleep is like you are completely resting. There is no experience. The only thing that is there is your ignorance and yourself. So it's not silent. There is still a sound. Likewise, in your deep sleep, there is still ajnana which is there. Because when you wake up as still an ajnani. So karana sharira is there, avidya is there. It's not silence. So it is, it's almost like silence, but not silence. But then there is a silence which is beyond all these, which is your Swarupa. That is called Turiya. Even in Omkara, that silence is there. Therefore, the four quarters. Now this, in Omkara, initially it is all Adhyaropa and then Apavada is said, because in every sound there is this underlying silence also. So in every, it's not Shunya. So we will see how that Omkara is expounded. So that is your Mula Grantha, how it approaches. It's a prakriya. Okay, that is your Upanishad. Then what is this Karika? Karika is an independent exposition of the Mula Grantha. The Mula Grantha is Mandukya Upanishad. And there are 4 chapters. See, everything is fourfold in this. Soyamatma Chatushpad. Like these 3 states of experience. And the 4th one is Turiya, Chaturiya, is how the Shastra says. 4 quarters are there, we said, right? Like in Omkara also, 4 quarters it is said. Therefore, this Karika also has 4 chapters. Through these 4 chapters, the same subject matter which is expounded in the core Upanishad are independently expounded in the Karika. Okay. It's a type of text. So when we spoke about pramana, right, one thing we have to understand, I think I had a slide, I don't know if I spoke about. See, when we talk about pramana, the means of knowledge, one thing we didn't discuss. Can a means of knowledge, a sound as a means of knowledge or shabda as a means of knowledge, be created by another human being? Can I create a shabda pramana? See, if I can create a shabda pramana, means what? I have got this knowledge without a pramana. Then only I am creating it, correct? Now, if I can gain this knowledge without a pramana, then you can also gain this knowledge without a pramana. It should be gainable. You don't need a pramana then. So I cannot create. If I have to have had the knowledge, that means I should have exposed myself to the pramana. Shravana has to have been done by me. Then only I can have this knowledge, because this knowledge can be gained only by Shravana. We already spoke about it in detail, right? You can't yourself go and find it out. You have to suspend yourself and then expose yourself to the pramana, and then that knowledge takes place. Therefore, I should have gained it from Shravana, from another teacher, a guru. That guru should have gained this knowledge from his own guru, and that guru should have gained it from his guru. Okay. So it goes on and on and on. Now you will ask me a question, then who is the first guru? Like you had a father, that person had a father, that person had a father. Where does it stop? Who is the first father? Then we have to give an arbitrary starting point, right? We will say Adam and Eve were created, or Manu was created. How was that person created? Bhagavan created. How did the world get created? Bhagavan created. We have to say that, no? Every religion has to say, because we all see things start in time. Whatever ends in time also starts in time. So what you see in front of you should have begun in time somewhere, is how we see. We all think like that, right? And where will it start from? Somewhere you have to put a full stop and say it was suddenly created, big bang happened, or God suddenly decided, okay, today onwards there will be Srishti. That's the only way you can answer this question. If there can be a start, or maybe there was no start at all, Anadi. How can there be no start? Then you have to understand what is time, what is space, what is creation. Then only you can answer this. Anyway, coming to how did this all start? If you have to answer, you have to say Bhagavan at the time of creation not only gave life and sun and moon, but also gave Shruti, because the Pramana also could not have started in time. So it should have been part of the creation. So Shruti, in tradition, we accept that it always existed. And how did rishis get it? It was Shrutam. That's why it's called Shruti. They heard it. In their deep meditation, they heard these sounds and they documented it. Documented as in they recorded it. By not writing down, but telling their sishyas and all that. So the Shruti Vakyas, Veda Vakyas were lying all over, because there were so many rishis. Rishayaha mantra drashtaraha. They saw these mantras. We don't say kartaraha, not mantra creators. They are mantra drashtaraha, the ones who saw these mantras. Because the mantras, the Shruti, always existed. And it's just that they saw. They are called, that's why we use the word seers. They are called seers. They saw. And Vedavyasa collected all of that from different rishis all over the world. And then that is why he's called Vedavyasa, the one who assembled all of it and divided it into 4 Vedas. That is why we take Shruti alone is Pramana. Why Shruti alone is Pramana? Because Smriti, like Mahabharata and all that, Manu and others, they were created by humans. Even though they were like exalted humans who are very brilliant people, like Vedavyasa himself, and there is Yajnavalkya, all those people have also created Smritis. But still we take them as a pramana. Why? Because they follow Shruti. whatever is told in Shruti is Veda, is stored by Smritis. Like Kalidasa says, a Nandini, a cow, was followed by Gautama. And how did he follow it? He says, he uses the example of how Smriti follows Shruti. In the same way, Gautama followed this cow. In Raghuvamsha, he says. He gives it as an example. Means it's an established fact that Smriti follows Shruti. So too, this person followed it without, leaving it for one moment. Like that, since Smriti follows Shruti, we say it is a pramana. That's why Mahabharata also is a pramana, because Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita is a pramana, because Bhagavad Gita toes Shruti. Not because it was told by Bhagavan, but because it toes the Shruti. Shruti is given by Bhagavan. Shastra yonitvat is what is said. Shruti also is Yasya Nishwasitam Veda. In fact, it is said Shruti is Bhagavan. It's like a breath of Bhagavan. Now, Nyaya, Shruti, Smriti, Nyaya, we say, right? Nyaya Prasthana. Nyaya is analysis of Shruti Vakya only. Therefore, it is a Pramana. Okay. So, Mandukya Karika, that is why I went to that, is a Pramana, because even though it is an independent exposition, but it is an exposition of the Mula Grantha only. Whatever is told in the Mula Grantha is expounded by Gaudapada in this Karika. That is why it is a Pramana. It is studied along with the Mula Grantha. This is the only Upanishad where a Karika also is studied, and Bhashyakara also has written Bhashya on it. In fact, even Madhvacharya has written Bhashya for one of the 4 chapters of Karika. It is very interesting. The reason why it is done, the first Prakarana, the first chapter is called Agama Prakarana. Agama means Veda. The Shruti is also called Agama. And this chapter expounds more on the what is said in Agama. Therefore, it is called Agama Prakarana. And it is interspersed, it is studied interspersed along with the Upanishad itself. So they have Om Ityetad Aksharam Idagum Sarvam, it said, right? After that, one shloka will be there. That shloka is part of the Gaudapada Karika. So it is studied. Then next, with some few slokas will be there. Then next part of Upanishad is picked up. Then some more shlokas of Gaudapada will be there. That is how it is studied. The first chapter alone. This is Agama Prakarana. Because it is interspersed this way, even people in other sampradaya, even though Gaudapada in his 4 chapters, especially in 3rd and 4th and all, he discusses more on Mithyatvam of Jagat, Alata Shanti and all that, which cannot be explained other than Advaita. But Agama Prakarana lends itself to some extent. Therefore, even Dvaitis and Visishtadvaitis have given commentaries on some of these. I mean, the 1 chapter of the Karika. So it is, why I am saying this is, it is taken as though it is part of Veda only. And we know Gaudapada, as per the records, it is said he was Guru's Guru of Acharya himself, right? Govinda Bhagavad Pada is Shankaracharya's Guru, and Gaudapada is Guru of Govinda Bhagavad Pada. Gauda means the Bengal, the today's Bengal. So they, in those days, they had Pancha Gauda Desha and Pancha Dravida Desha in India. There were 5 Gauda Deshas, and generally the core Gauda Desha is supposed to be Bengal. I have read it somewhere. And then the Pancha Dravida Deshas are Andhra Desha and all that. So that is the southern half below Narmada. It is divided into 5. So that Gaudapada Acharya apparently came from there, and there are stories about how he came to learn Vyakarana, and those kind of stories are there. He came south to Patanjali, was teaching in in Chidambaram in Tamil Nadu. He was Patanjali is supposed. There's all stories. We don't know what is the authenticity of these, but the story goes that Adisesha with 1,000 heads became Patanjali. And Panini was from Lahore. See, this is the beauty of the country in those days, right? Panini, who wrote the Vyakarana Sutras, is from Lahore, which is in today's Pakistan. And the person who wrote commentary on it was Patanjali, who was from the southern tip, Chidambaram in Tamil Nadu. He was doing that there. And Gaudapada was from Bengal. So in an age when there was no communication as in the technologies like telecommunication technologies or any of these things, 200 years back itself it wasn't there, isn't it? Non-networked nation, how did people come to know about some Panini writing grammar in Lahore and a Bhashya is being done by somebody here in way down south, and Gaudapada who comes all the way from Bengal to learn it from this person? Means the search for knowledge was so intense. People longed for all these, and it has survived ages, thousands of years, and even today we are studying it. Coming back, this Gaudapada has written this Karika, and there seems to have been few other Karikas which are not available now. There is a Sankhya Karika which is spoken about by one Ishvara Krishna. We don't have those. And there are also other books called Vrittikara Matha and all that, which Acharya himself refers to in Sutra Bhashya. But those are not available now. Okay, the only known human exposition, the main work is Gaudapada Karika, which is available before Shankaracharya. Most of the other works are after Shankaracharya himself, right? So, of course, the Mula Granthas were there, but this Karika has a certain stature because it follows Shruti and it is studied along with this Upanishad. So Shankaracharya has written Bhashya for this Karika along with the Upanishad. Also, very interestingly, Gaudapada addresses Bauddha Mata in his 4th chapter. So the Bauddhas were in a very prominent pole position in those days. Even if you read Shankaracharya's stories, we will know that he debated the Bauddhas and Mimamsakas in a big way. But even before him, Gaudapada has picked up. So the 4 chapters, before we get to that Buddhist teachings, the 4 chapters are Agama Prakarana, the first one, like the first chapter, which talks about what is there directly in the Upanishad. Then Vaitatya Prakarana. Vitatham means it is not that way, the non-that means mithya. He speaks about mithyatvam of Jagat through the Vaitatya Prakaranam. Vitata bhavaha Vaitatyam, and that chapter is Vaitatya Prakaranam. That is the 2nd chapter, which talks about mithya. And once mithya is expounded, then what exists is the Satyam, which is Advaitam. So Advaita Prakaranam is the 3rd chapter. And 4th chapter is an interesting one. It is called Alata Shanti Prakaranam. Alata is, suppose you have a rope, and at the end of the rope you tie a fire ball, and then you keep spinning that, rotate it, and then make So you see patterns, right? So in the darkness, if somebody is spinning that is called alata. So wherever that fireball goes, it leaves a pattern. So if you see, you can see a pattern of circles and things. So he uses that example and show that even though you see a pattern, the reality of all that is that fireball which is there. And once you do in your mind the shanti of that alata, what will remain is only that fire. Like that one, he uses that simile to show what is the substance. That is alata shanti. And that is very close to Buddha also, because they have this concept of Kshanika Vijnana. There are two kinds of main vadas in Buddha, in Buddhist. One is Shunyavadi, another is Kshanika Vijnanavadi. And that Kshanika Vijnana is also very close because it also says that what is there is momentary consciousness, but underneath there is no continuity, there is no substance. All that is there is only Shunya. So Gaudapada uses almost same words and dismisses the Bauddhavada by showing that there is a substantive, and because there is a continuity, and that continuity is not possible if it is Kshanika Vijnana. So Etat Buddhena Bhashitam. He uses the same words of Buddha, but finally concludes this has not been expounded by Buddha. Therefore, his Vada is not acceptable, is not correct, is how he concludes. So those are the 4 chapters of Gaudapada Karika. Because Omkara is used and 3 states of experience, and the substance of the experience is what is revealed. Therefore, Gaudapada also takes the same aspect, element of the experience of what are you experiencing is what is analyzed. And then he concludes, Alata Shanti is where your Swarupa is obtained. That is the 4th chapter. So this is the overall construct of this Upanishad. There are a lot of details, but how the Upanishad and Karika are constructed, this is the model, the Prakriya. We spoke about Prakriya. Again, like I said, you can't take everything literally, right? It is a model to show all that is here is Brahman. See, finally we dismiss all attributes. So you can't take anything as absolute. Whether it is Srishti or states of experience, because finally what does Upanishad say? It is the Turiya which is the reality. There is no quarter. In every quarter that one is there, but quarter itself does not make that one. It's not 4 quarters added together is the one. In fact, every quarter is nothing but the one only. One is not any one quarter, but every quarter is that one. Therefore, one is Satyam. The quarter is Mithya. That is the vision. Adhyaropa apavadabhyam nishprapancham prapanchate. So you should see it the way Upanishad is expounding it. Then only that jnana is possible. We should not get into theoretical analysis of how can Srishti come from Omkara. What is this vibration? Does this vibration cause atoms? Omkara, is it Big Bang? You can't, that is not the import of Shastra. Try and see what, see, we are not opposed to science or, trying to scientifically justify and all that. That's all okay. You can do it in its own place. That's fine. But what is Shastra trying to show? Let us just look at it that way, because our commitment is not to prove Veda or justify Vedanta through science. That is not our intent. We are here to gain the jnanam of what is the Swarupa, because all other knowledge is not going to lead you anywhere. It is also samsara only. understanding how this Jagat is created. What will you gain? Your life is in such a short span. Understanding this world more and more and more and more, what will happen? Only age will go. Because there is no end to this knowledge of this Jagat. It is Maya Srishti. Mama Maya Duratyaya is what Bhagavan says. There is no final word. So many hundreds of years of scientific experimentation has only led us to understand that there is more to learn, and it will go on and on. So there is no vivaksha in all this. You can waste your life on analyzing how the Jagat was created, Big Bang happened or not, but what are you going to gain out of it? So Shrutimatas Tarkonusandiyatam. Analyze it as the Shruti is showing you. Because the Tatparya of Shruti is to show that you are Brahman. Then you have a solution to your problem, if you can gain that knowledge. Otherwise, it's an academic exercise, which is one of the other samsarika activities only. So we will look at it purely from how Shastra is giving you the vision. Then it will benefit. You can gain this jnanam, because when pramana is there, prameya is always there. Prameya means the object of knowledge, because everything is Brahman. So there is no prameya problem. All the problem is either is only with pramata. The knower is only, so even pramana there is no problem. So many people have used the Shastra pramana to gain this knowledge. So there is no problem with the pramana. There is no problem with prameya, which is Brahman. If there can be a problem, hindrance, it is with the pramata, the person who is trying to seek this knowledge. And that is what we should work on to gain the knowledge. So we will see in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
धन्यवाद.
धन्यवाद.